So yeah, welcome to this series of the revamp, the project that I've been working on with our team, uh, basically the entire 2023. We're glad to finally show you the first batch of this project, the results of this project. Before we begin on the actual revamp part, I'm gonna go quickly through version 9, version 10. So as you remember, version 10 was quite a long sprint, and it brought a lot of changes that you've probably seen in the release notes. If you haven't watched the video that Adam did on release notes, I highly recommend. It's kind of long, but it carries a lot of changes and a lot of value, especially if you work with the admin a lot. So just a brief, there's a lot of technical aspects about the about version 6.10 that are important for us as a product. I'm going to briefly go through them just to give you an idea. So this was our architecture and infrastructure scheme on before the version 6.10, and this is the new one. So as you notice, the main changes, we have a load balancer now. So this allows us to this gives us way more control to scale our platform and more control over every data center. And this is vital in the overall in the infrastructure. And you will probably get better understanding as we go through the presentation how infrastructure and architecture is important for any platform. So with our recent infrastructure upgrade, we've switched to a higher performance web server. We're now also switched to ARM architecture CPUs. If you're familiar with the latest MacBooks that use M1, M2 Mac CPUs that use that architecture. So these are the latest and greatest from Amazon. So we were able to switch to those, which gives us a higher performance boost. So we updated the backend from .NET to 5 to .NET 8, which is extremely important. .NET 8 is the latest version of .NET. We decoupled file storage from application servers, decoupled SFTP from application servers. So we now perform faster security updates. We have increased DDoS resilience, have improved security by making CMS systems independent from one another, and improved application performance, reduced application resource use, increasing the load sites now can withstand more load before hitting the resource quota. And it also opens possibilities for future updates such as file versioning and automatic upgrade to or a downgrade from dedicated plan. So basically, for the heavier sites, bigger sites, scaling is becoming more easier, and Treepl is used a lot for, well, we see more complex websites on the platform, and so this is important for future growth. We have a 6.11 already. It's actually in a final stage. It's on the first update release starting since this change. So it's already on the website, and we're gonna release it. It's already in public backlog page, and we'll release it next week. So it's in the testing stage, and we bring in 7 more features and improvements to the platform. And Vlad is planning to hand the release notes this week to Adam, so keep an eye on it. Now let's go to the revamp part. So what is the revamp? So if we go back a little bit in the history and to our history and where we started from the from BC, where we were one of the developers. And when the EOL happened, we basically built platform based on the BC scope, the BC's pricing, and with BC users, the business catalyst partners. We had a code production team. Code production team that's been with Business Catalyst since 2008. So we had very good knowledge of Business Catalyst, and we had a strong team with a highly skilled team, and we were recognized in the community. And at the same time, 6 months before the EOL was announced, we announced a template platform for Business Catalyst, which was called Treepl. So we combined those old factors, and this is how Treepl was born. So when our goal back then was to become the number one platform, the number one alternative to Business Catalyst, which we have reached, and we were privileged to build this business due to all those factors. And after we did this, after the EOL, as you probably remember, we did a lot of besides the upgrades, infrastructure and architecture, we did a lot of BC scope things. Hold on, we have people trying to rejoin. And we were asking, well, I was mostly asking myself, who we are in the market now after the Business Catalyst was gone. So the market doesn't need just a number one alternative to the platform that disappeared. So before answering that question, we went in and decided to observe the market. So what is the market? How does the market look like? So this is how it looks like. By the end of 2023, there are 11,038 solutions on the market in the marketing technology landscape. And of course, we digged in and researched every solution that you can see on this map. And of course, I'm just kidding. We took a little different route. I'm gonna talk about that a little later. But here's another interesting fact is how those solutions were appearing in the last on the market in the last 13 years, 12 years. So since 2011, when there was 150 solutions, now we have 11,038. And these are potentially the tools that marketing agency, web agency, you can use to deliver your project. So it's quite extensive. And so that's the first thing. And the next thing I'd like to clarify and I'd like to go through is the terms. Let me see if we have any. Yeah. I'd like to define the terms. Now, this is can be a little confusing because there are a lot of terms around this, and I'll try to simplify as much as possible. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, let me know. I'll have the chat window open. So first is the CMS. So content management system, the term that we all know, this is basically standard for web, standard term for web platforms. First of all, it's very old, and it's actually my age, and has appeared before websites. Before you were able to build websites, the term was already there. And there are different variations for that term, and this can be confusing. And The first is web content management. Basically, a lot of solutions, they're just each solution they try to okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. We have people joining in. So we noticed that when we were looking through the solutions, we noticed that companies try to avoid this term now, and they try to create new terms. One of them is WCM, Web Content Management, Enterprise Content Management, then headless CMS, which is not the easiest term to sell to your customers because something without a head. API first, headless CMS, another term that's not easy to sell. So, and we noticed that there's another term that's kind of emerging. It's called digital DXP, digital experience platform, and it already has certain variations. All-in-one DXP, composable DXP, hybrid DXP. So from my observation, this term is outdating and fading, and this term is taking root. Content management system is very limiting, that term, because it's now with this, if you look at the landscape, it's not just about the content, it's way more. So, and the market is growing, and the possibilities are growing, and technologies are growing. So, just content, just management, just system is very limiting term. And this term is taking root is definitely something that brings more, it's easier to sell. So that was one key factor that we noticed, that it's an easier to sell for web agencies for sure. And it describes the capabilities of solutions, all-in-one solutions at least. I'm gonna try to define DXP a little better. So this term is kind of new. So it's been like started to be used like 5, 6 years ago. I created so these are the articles, mostly by these articles that are on the DXP CMS's websites. Um, then I'll put those links in the chat window if you want to dig into this subject a little more and define it better for yourself. Gartner identifies DXP as an integrated set of technologies designed to enable the composition, management, delivery, and optimization of contextualized digital experiences across multi-experience customers' journey. A little confusing. So we also, and that's one of the reasons we try to simplify this. So there's also a little some fightings that I did on Reddit. So people are still trying to figure out what the difference between WCM and CMS and DXP is. And my favorite term is answer is marketing fluff and feature bloat. So DXPs are bigger platforms. And here's an interesting case. A lot of enterprise buy a DXP and then only use them, the CMS, the web content management part of the product. Then when it comes to the time to implement more stuff, the team has been swapped out, the leadership has been changed, or the priorities shifted. So instead they implement the WCM part at another DXP or a new version of the same one. And also there are comparisons. Adobe, I posted this one because Adobe is Experience Manager is actually one of the top solutions in the DXP market according to Gartner. Now, let me try to simplify this and define it a little better. I put it into two categories considering our target audience, you, to better understand who is working with CMSs and who's working with DXPs, who's working with headless CMSs. So CMS market is mostly B2C and B2B. So there are solutions that are just website builders and they're aimed for people that can build websites themselves for their own business. Some of them offer B2B features, but it's either B2C or B2C plus B2B. And these are CMSs, basically the platforms that offer content publishing, website building tools, and limited API capabilities. Mostly those are limited because of the architecture and infrastructure limits. Now, headless CMSs, they are kind of um, in the same category as DXP. These are data content and asset management. They offer data content and asset management, also called as digital asset management. It's like a separate term for a platform. I'm not gonna go into that. Storage and delivery, extensive API. Everything is done through API. The reason why they call headless is they don't have a front end, a head, which is an admin. You probably seen those one of those solutions when the BCOL happened and there were platforms available for my business catalyst partners. And DXP is a feature-rich CMS that has content publishing, website building tools, not limited API capabilities, very extensive API capabilities. So they have all the features from a headless CMS. And one very distinct feature of DXP is content personalization, which brings huge value to businesses, and mostly enterprise businesses. Automations, mostly in marketing and integrations. Now, some key factors about each of these. So B2C, so CMSs are used by agencies, and they're easy to set. They have easy setup. They have monolithic architecture and infrastructure, and they're affordable. They're easy to work with. They're affordable, and um, it's the easiest start. It's sometimes it's easy to sell, sometimes it's challenging because again they're aimed on their B2C and people can build websites themselves and it can be a challenge for agency to sell certain services that are DIY that have DIY tools. So these solutions, headless CMSs and DXPs, they're used by IT departments and system integrators. System integrators, these are basically the agencies for that build projects, big projects on headless CMSs and DXPs. So they're longer and more resourceful to build. You have to have backend developers and DevOps on staff. And they have flexible architecture and scalable infrastructure. And they're either expensive or very expensive. Now, we've probably done with the most technical, complex part. I hope you're still here. Please. Yeah. Now let's go back. Let's go to the actual research. So here are the platforms that we started to research, that we define we want to research. And this is the list from partners. And again, we're talking only about the software as a service solutions. This is the list of platforms that you guys gave us, that you mentioned in the surveys. These are what you are competing with on your market with the agencies that you are competing with. So these are WordPress.com. They have their own SaaS solution. WP Engine, this is WordPress, Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, Webflow, and BigCommerce. Now, for the headless CMSs, we went in and found the most, as we think, based on the reviews, the most complete headless CMSs. And as you can see, there's this dotted line here. It means that there's the headless CMSs are now turning into DXPs more and more. In fact, if you go to Agility CMS, their domain still says agilitycms.com, but if you go, they don't, but if you go through the website, they don't actually use the term CMS much. And in fact, there's an article, one page on their website where they call themselves a hybrid DXP. So we definitely see that headless CMSs are adding more and more features to their platform, and they're adding admins and more and more integrations, and they're turning into DXPs. Adobe Experience Manager and Sitecore are defined like the leaders in the DXP market, but we couldn't, first of all, we couldn't get access to, well, for Adobe, we didn't want to even go there. For Sitecore, we just couldn't get access to the platform, it was very, very strange uh, process. It was just like, felt like they don't want to sell it. Um, the sales process was very weird. So LifeRay, we had an opportunity to work with, and also we are we were we have Aaron Wakel from one of the well-established system integrators, Argonaut. He's a CTO in Argonaut, and he helped us to observe explore this whole DXP uh, area, and gave us a lot of insights on how this works and what are the capabilities of those platforms. So how did we do the research? We created a web agency with 50 plus websites, and the web agency was created. We had a team. We had a project manager. Mary is with us here, and Mary has been managing one of the more complex projects on Treepl, so she knows our client very well, and she knows the platform very well. And we also had the lead QA that knows our platform in and out. And we put them in a team, and we created a really real, very real web agency. And they went in and just started to do interviews with every of these platforms to define their limits, to define their capabilities, to compare them with our platform, and basically to get understanding of this whole market. So first of all, first thing that we did, we created an agency must-have checklist, and we did it with you. So we contact several of you guys and asked you to help us to define what is agency must-have checklist for a platform when you go and look for a platform. I know that I talked to many of you guys, and you have, before you made a choice mm, most of you work with Business Catalyst, but started with Business Catalyst. But before you chose Business Catalyst, you went in and did a lot of research you spent hours on the platform. So we try to research just like a web agencies, and there are very limited information that we really need to make a choice if we were an agency. So we created this checklist, and with many tens of questions. So we have created so these are the categories. This is just a general ease of use, organizing content by group, and so I can give you a link to that. You can go through this. So, and then we went to everything from pricing. So Mary was evaluating, so creating her, adding items from what interests her as a business owner of this web agency. And our lead QA was adding technical aspects, or technical items to define the most important technical capabilities of the future platform that we're choosing for our web agencies. So we also have included marketing capabilities, also the site owner requirements that we know that site owners would need. And we went in and started to evaluating the every platform. So we created, first we just had the rating from 0 to 5. And we created like a score, a final score for each platform. But during those, so again, these were like interviews that we did with every platform to define certain limits and stuff. And we did those after we actually registered, either purchased a live website or license or whatever. So it was, different approach with every platform. So after we digged in, we noticed that after we did couple platforms, we noticed that there are some very significant uh, features, either good or bad, or significant limits that would be a huge decision factor for us if we were to choose a platform. So we created this another filter where if we see something that's like definitely a limit, and this could be a factor for any agency to decide whether they want to go with the platforms, we mark it as con. And if we definitely see some big advantage that would allow us to help us to make a choice, we would mark it as pro. So for each of the platforms, we have um, selected those cons and pros, and we scored every platform. Uh, yeah, after interviewing them. It was a lot of work. So altogether, our team spent more than 700 hours just to conduct this, to complete this part. Um, Now the problem we encountered when we scaled them all, or when we evaluated, rated them all, is that how do we rate Treepl? So of course we would want to rate it as the best. So we went back to the community, and we went to you and asked, we selected 6 partners that are as diversified as possible. So there are different, a number of websites, there are different sizes, some of them one-man shops, some of them teams from different countries, different um, type of clients. So we asked them to rate Treepl. So we gave them this doc, and they could browse through the competition and see how we did it for the competitors for those platforms. And we asked them to rate Treepl. So these are the results that we received. We were surprised. It was a good surprise for us to have Treepl rated with 342 and the amount of pros and cons. This is the average. So basically each partner gave um, a score, the number of pros and number of cons, and this is the average that we took from the 6. Also, some more results we received from this is the backlog inspiration. So this is the thing that will save us hours, hundreds of hours of work for our team. So we basically, since we digged into every platform as deep as possible, we found so many good inspirations and so many good ideas that we can definitely implement into our platforms. So we created a separate document and separate that we passed on to Lot, where we are just, it's 81 features that an improvement that we would like to add to the platform. And as you remember, the person that dig into technical part of each platform was our lead QA, who knew our platform in and out. So we're definitely going to use this to make our platform better in different areas. And it's interesting that we went from the very simple to the most complex. So there are definitely some great ideas. Okay, next thing is the CRM comparison. One was one of the discoveries, one of the main discoveries. We were surprised to see uh, how much is our CRM is capable of comparing to other platforms. Technical limits is another thing that allowed us to see the limits of the other platforms and compare it to ours and evaluate our infrastructure and architecture capabilities. So that was more for our DevOps and backend. And we also did the pricing and value comparison. So how much certain things cost on other platforms and how much um do our partners pay for those features on our platform. Okay, what's next? Do you have If you have any questions, do we? No, we don't have any questions. We can continue. Now we're approaching the main results that we included, the graphs. We wanted to create one graph that defines basically the landscape of our competition. And for the first scale, we definitely have the cost. So from the most affordable to the most expensive. And for the next one, we were kind of thinking about what scale would this be, and we ended up doing the business potential. The reason for that is it's not the ease of use or other things, and we had several options. The reason for that is because based on what you guys develop on the platform, we see that the we see a tendency where you bring the projects to the project that you guys bring to the platform are the ones who have a potential to scale. So when you choose the platform for clients that have a, a significant potential that they want to realize on our platform, so that's basically the reason why we um, have the scales, and considering the fact that our goal is to make the platform more powerful and more flexible, this makes total sense. And this is the layout of our competition. So we have this part was evaluated by Mary because she has the full analysis on every platform on the cost. And this one is evaluated by our lead QA. For example, we took the WordPress and WA engine and moved it um, to the left because of the issues that they're having with conflicts that they're having with plugins and all that plugin story, and for scalability um, mm, reasons. This is what they where they suffer. So this is how we laid the CMSs and the headless CMSs. I must mention that they don't come with e-commerce out of the box. Again, these are headless CMSs that are moving towards DXP. Uh, Most of them use Shopify's e-commerce integration, which means that to the cost the of their plans, or you have to add Shopify fees and plans. So our biggest fun and LiveRay, of course, it's our lead QA's favorite platform. So he definitely, I would say, fell in love with it. So this one is extremely expensive, but it has offers so much in out of the box, including e-commerce, by the way. So as you can see, our biggest finding was uh, that if you have a potential up to this point, um, this is where the platforms you want to, or if your customer has a potential up to this point, certain point, this is your choice. And but if you want to go a little further, you already have to jump to right it. And this gap is like it's really that big. I mean, it's really big. Um, and if you make a jump even to somewhere here, you have to go right here and you have to basically have a platform that offers more than you need right away. And the significant and change in the cost is significant as well. And this is where what we discussed with Aaron from Argono, that says that whenever they, as a system integrator, they sell a solution, a DXP solution for their customers, sometimes the customer only uses the 5% of the functionality because they are buying the rest of the 95% for their future growth, for their future potential, for their future plans and strategies. So works a little different in that realm. So, and this is where we see opportunity for our platform. So in this gap, and this is what we also see the opportunity for the agencies, for our target audience. And as you know, we will remain to working with web agencies, digital agencies, and we want to create the very best platform for them. And we want to basically uh, be the platform where your customer, whatever customer comes to your door, uh, you could you could cover their business potential ambitions with a platform that you offer. So, which leads me to um, announcement of next meeting that we're gonna have next week, exactly a week from now. And we're gonna start our next meeting with Treepl's current position on the market in this landscape, on this graph, and where we want to move our platform in the future, and on this graph. And we're also gonna announce rebranding and the new brand strategy that we've been working on. We have hired a firm for that. We're gonna send you a little more details on that in the email. So we worked with the brand strategist to create our new brand and the new brand strategy based on our position on the market. That's everything from my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. A very straight question. Are we looking at price increase? We will be changing our pricing. I think we announced that last time um, in our last treehouse. It was last year. We are going to do the price adjustment, I would say, based on the value. It's not going to be a full just straightforward like price increase, but this is for a little later. It's part of the revamp, so we're not going to talk about prices today. So this is coming a little later. Any other questions? If I have a new site, should I consider other options if Treepl is changing? Well, I don't think Treepl is changing for bad. I mean, if Treepl was changing for bad, you probably have to. But I think the whole purpose of the revamp and all the efforts that we are doing right now is changing Treepl for good. So we have invested a lot of time and effort to this research with the sole purpose of Treepl to change for good, not for good, but for the very best. So we want to have a long-term strategy. We want to understand for our brand and for our platform. We want to understand who we are and who we want to be in 10 years. And this is So my answer would be no. That would be I would think that would be a very bad decision. But you can make your conclusions after we finish all three presentations. So we'll have scalable prices based on capability. That's a really cool question. And you really follow the logic because that makes sense. Uh, that's a really cool question. That's well, I mean, that basically what I'm gonna say. That I like how you're thinking, and you're thinking correctly. So I'm not gonna spoil my next presentations. So I'm just gonna thank you for the question. We'll have small company pricing for small websites. Again, without trying to spoil it, we want to be, we keep the target audience. Our target audience is web agencies. So, from a business point of view, we want to first for our platform to be your only choice for all of your websites so that you could serve every customer that comes to your door. I would like every sane customer, every customer with the potential that comes to your door. And secondly, we don't want to lose clients. I mean, that would be stupid if we lose current sites, current subscriptions. Why would we shoot in our own foot? Yeah, so I hope this answers the question. I'll be patient. Okay. Well, there's not it's not long to wait. So we will announce all the changes that we are announcing in this three presentation, and we're gonna make them uh, gradually, so with as less stress as possible. And we're gonna do it together with you guys. So we're we're open to feedback. There's not much feedback that you can give us after this presentation, but there will be more feedback that we will be open to starting next presentation. Any more questions? Okay, no more questions, so let me stop the recording. Mm,